Well, Exiles, I messed up. I missed out on some important Path of Exile 2 news in my last info video that I'd like to cover here today from a new interview with Grinding Gear Games game director for PoE 2, Jonathan Rogers, plus GGG keeps dropping wonderful new info on patch 0.5 that you might miss if you're not keen on the social media front, but worry not, I'm covering that here today, and if you've already seen it, well, I'm gonna give my take on all this splendid new stuff coming to PoE 2 with Return of the Ancients. You Exiles seem to like the chill vibes of the last new video, and I'm gonna keep them going. Make sure if you do enjoy this content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. It's the absolute best thing you can do to help the channel grow. Let's move straight into something that many players will be very excited about. There are significant campaign changes coming to Path of Exile 2, specifically to Acts 1, 2, and 3, per one of the level designers at Grinding Gear Games named Suna. They dropped this screenshot right here in the Campaign Codex Discord, which is a server dedicated to determining the layouts and getting through them as quick as possible in the PoE 2 campaign. Well, that campaign has been painful for many players, and Grinding Gear Games realizes that, but they don't really want to allow you to skip it, and they don't want to shorten it significantly, so they're adding the clues that Jonathan and Mark spoke about in the interview, but they're also revamping many areas or slightly changing them if they just don't flow well. In the case of Act 3, and it sounds like 2, some areas are getting completely reworked. Some might even be removed from the game. I got that snippet from an insider that I have in the racing community. Additionally, you might be accessing one area that you didn't access from a different area before. The entire layout of the campaign might be shifting completely, and we know the Dreadnought, which was once 2 carts, is now only 1 cart. So really, the campaign that many casual or slower players did complain about being far too long in the past might be a lot shorter in patch 0.5. Are you looking forward to these changes? Are you hoping perhaps they're paired with plopping in a couple bosses into the empty areas that just don't have bosses? That's something that I would love to see personally. I didn't think the campaign was too long, but smoothing out the entire journey and allowing players who are paying attention and have the knowledge to traverse quicker and getting rid of some of these more annoying layouts, I think is just a win in my eyes, as long as they don't add campaign skip. Next up, we know Path of Exile 2 is adding over 40 new uniques to the game in this patch, but are they going to be any good at all? That is the question. Will you equip them or a rare item for most of your character's journey? Well, Grinding Gear Games are doing their absolute best to design some pretty sick new uniques in the game. They showcased 2 of them this week. The first is named Nightfall, which is essentially Captain America's vibranium shield that you can throw at enemies. It bounces between enemies, off walls, and while it's in the air, you can choose to leap to it, as shown in the footage right there, and do a massive slam into the ground. It looks build defining, it looks fantastic, it looks very engaging, and it just opens up a brand new playstyle, which is something that I love to see with uniques. Where do you get it though? We'll talk about that more in a moment. And then next up, we have this Redemption, which is a brand new base item in Path of Exile 2, a Trarthan cannon. It's literally a grenade launcher that allows you to build up a form of rage that allows you to just spam grenades as much as you want for a certain amount of time. It surely looks ridiculous, and they even went a step further and they added this item's base as a craftable base in the game. So now you can even craft this new interesting crossbow in the endgame as a rare weapon, which just sounds phenomenal. Path of Exile 2 players already loved grenade and mercenary builds in 0.4, even 0.3, but this unique, it makes some of them even more powerful. Yeah, it has limitations, but the possibilities that it opens up seem pretty wide open, and the weapon itself, it seems strong. It doesn't seem weak. It seems like it might beat out a rare crossbow in certain scenarios, which is great. That's what we want to see with these unique weapons. Now for redemption, this looks like a world drop, meaning it could drop from any monster in the game, though it does have a decently high item level requirement. Now Nightfall only drops, I believe, from the Breach boss Tool and Eshed, meaning you need to get to endgame, fight a pinnacle boss to earn this particular drop. This has opened up a little bit of a can of worms in the community that I see the points of, but I'm actually a fan of this type of design. It means it locks out players from really starting with this particular build. You need to get to endgame, fight Tool and Eshed, and get lucky enough to get Nightfall to drop, or you need to trade for it. Right? You need to buy it from somebody else. This means it's hard to league start as this, and it's never a guaranteed drop. I like that there are some build-defining uniques, and maybe more and more build-defining uniques, locked behind pinnacle bosses, beating the most challenging content in the game. And if you really, really want it, you can farm for it, but it might take some time. Or this will end up being a trash item, nobody will want to use it, and you'll be buying it super cheap on day 5 or 6 of the league because of asynchronous trade, especially if it's a common drop. It doesn't matter. I really think I'm gonna try this at least at some point during this 6 to 7 month league. I really do want to give Grinding Gear Games props on this, because ever since 0.3, 0.4, the uniques they've been adding to the game are build defining. They create playstyles that will be new in the patch, and as long as the item is in the game, will exist long into the future. They might not always be the meta, but they will be truly unique playstyles in Path of Exile 2, and I think that's overall a good thing. It means that when all weapons are added, or all classes and Ascendancy classes are in the game, the playstyles are not defined. They could just drop a unique item in the game that completely reinvents the wheel in addition to a new skill that's specific to a certain weapon. It really makes me excited for the future of Path of Exile 2. Did either of these two uniques tickle your fancy? Let me know in the comments below, Exiles. Okay, so Grinding Gear Games literally dropped an Ascendancy breakdown video that I'm gonna draw snippets from, but before we talk about the Spirit Walker and taming bosses and the fact that stags now generate shocked ground, I know, let's talk about the Destin and Jonathan interview, because there are some really fascinating tidbits that I'd like to share with everyone here. So this interview with Jonathan Rogers really further opened my eyes about this new endgame experience in Path of Exile 2. He really stressed that instead of this just being aimless, instead of it even being a checkbox list of things that you need to complete, the new Atlas is a journey that, yes, might be guided, but truly it's in your hands. It almost feels like it's a Dungeons and Dragons sandbox campaign where you're plopped in the middle of the wilderness and you have 7 different points of interest that you can go and explore all across the map, and it's in your hands whether or not you want to go out to the Breach lands, or go to the ritual infested forests, or go south and sail the seas. It's an interesting feeling looking at it. I wonder if it'll play out the same exact way when we actually get in the game, and how lasting this feeling will be. Then Jonathan also talked about the new ocean exploration system with Expedition, where you're going from island to island, and how it's very reminiscent of the delve mechanic in Path of Exile 1, and how they introduced a lot of new maps specifically to these set of islands, and they have interesting encounters that we've never seen before on them. It almost sounds like these island maps are a series of the unique endgame maps that we used to find across the Atlas. He also went into way too much depth on one of the new bosses coming into the game. I unfortunately cringed when I heard some story spoilers that I'm not going to share in today's video. Unfortunately, he also spoiled some boss mechanic stuff, which brings me to the greater question of, is GGG spoiling too much during these live streams and interviews? And honestly, I do think they are, especially with some of the bosses or surprises in these mechanics. And I know on launch day and the subsequent weeks, we're going to get a lot of interesting stuff that we weren't expecting. Still, I do wish they didn't share as much as they have been, especially in 0.4 and 0.5. I remember they showed some of the Atziri boss fight, and I thought, dang, that's unfortunate. Although they did not show her second phase. So maybe there's some extremely hidden stuff in all these areas that we don't even have comprehension of at the moment. He also noted in this very interview and in an article that recently came out that the Grinding Gear Games developers will never provide builds to players in Path of Exile 2 with the new build planner feature, that it's up to the players to decide what is good, up to the streamers, the creators, the community, just yourself, which was great to see. But then they also dropped this Ascendancy breakdown that we're going to look at, where they did outline some sample builds. I know that they meant they're never going to put them in the game itself, but they are giving us a little bit of direction on what might be broken and what's not. And then the one last big bombshell in this interview is the fact that we will be getting at least one class during 1.0 in the lead up to 1.0. I hadn't listened to this interview. I'm so sorry, guys, for talking about the no classes thing, but during the group question segment, that 1.0 will have at least one class, and he even hints that something might come before then. And a lot of people have taken that to mean that between 0.5 and 1.0, we're going to get a class. I don't think he explicitly says that. You're kind of reading too much in the tea leaves. I would think after he said this, we'll get one class. It likely will be Duelist and Swords. I know, too soon. But it's good to hear that 1.0, in addition to having Acts 5 and 6, new league mechanics, surely new uniques, rebalances, new skills, and the like, will also come with a juicy new class. And speaking of a new class, a new Ascendancy class, Grinding Gear Games dropped this spectacular video, another 7-minute reveal that will be linked in the description below, breaking down the Spirit Walker Ascendancy and showcasing the latest changes that they've made to it. I'm gonna highlight a couple of them here in the video that stood out to me in particular, and this really is trying to drag me away from starting as a martial artist. The first one is on screen right now, Vivid Stampede. This is the stag spirit ability that stomps on your foes. Well, the stag leaps, they now create shocked ground, which is huge. That means, remember guys, shock is very important in Path of Exile 2 for increasing the magnitude of damage that you deal. When enemies are standing on this shocked ground, you are dealing substantially more damage. A lot of people are talking about how Twister will be absolutely busted with the Spirit Walker, not only using Vivid Stampede, but this right here, the Owl Spirits, the feathers, which will allow you to proj max. You're stacking up these Owl Feathers with Primal Bounty, with the other notables, and you are able to, honestly, they're not showing it justice. We know that the builds that players create are going to be way more absurd. I can't wait to see what the Messiah Snoobe85 does with his Twister build, but rest assured, I think that Twister Spirit Walker is a pretty safe bet with the latest round of buffs that they've showcased in this very video. Oh, and they also confirmed that the added projectiles works with spells. And then they moved to showing off the bear, which the bear has way more moves than I thought. Look, he has so many different roars and these leap slams. Oh my goodness. I might actually get duped into playing minions or companions this league. And I really never thought I would, but this bear right here and all his various abilities and buffs and auras he creates for you really are enticing, especially when you mix and match them with, yes, I will show you, the natural order, which allows you to tame unique beasts. They show all them on screen right here. Here are the bad boys. Let's see. Let's go through them. Let's see if we can name them, everybody. We have the Monkey, the Devourer. We have the Chimera, we have the Chimera again, we have Scorpion, we have the Blind Beast, we have, the Shark Boy, we have, I don't know what that one is. We have the Hyena, and then we have the Rhino Behemoth guy from Act 2. So what, we have 9 right here that are confirmed. and they showcase them a little bit, and the damage actually does look pretty decent, and you can buff them up in pretty substantial ways. They even showcase in the build section the ability to create a zoo of animals. This guy right here has wolves, he has the monkey, he has a couple other minions right here, and he has a quadrilla. This is used with the Sylvan's effigy to increase the number of maximum companions that you can get. Of course, you can only have one unique monster as a companion, but with this brand new Stoic Scepter, you can also get all the other companions that he has right here. It honestly, Exiles, I am considering league starting this. The martial artist, which we'll probably get a breakdown of incredibly soon too, is sweet, and it's melee, but this, look at all the little animals you get. It might drag me away. Let me know if you're thinking of going the Spirit Walker instead of the martial artist after seeing all of this too. So we're getting patch notes on May 21st. Big campaign changes. Now we've seen how awesome the Spirit Walker looks. We're getting a grenade launcher and Captain America's shield in the game. I mean, the rest of teaser season, we've still got 17 more days to go, and I'm pretty confident that the teasers are going to keep on flowing. And because a lot of people have been asking me, I do not have an interview with the developers this league. They kindly confirmed it with me recently. Thank you, Grinding Gear Games. But Darth Microtransaction and Gazzy TV have a tavern talk with Mark and Jonathan, but the date is not confirmed. But you know it, I will be covering all the new information learned from that interview. Oh, and one other piece of news just came out that is awesome for Path of Exile 1 players. Grinding Gear Games did confirm if you have bought the Fragment tab in Path of Exile 1, you will not need to buy it in Path of Exile 2. When the game launches on May 29th, you'll be able to put all of your endgame materials in that stash tab. Continued W's for Grinding Gear Games and Path of Exile 2. Please remember, if you enjoyed this, watch this next video up on screen, leave a comment below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all. I'll see you in the next one.